Okay, man, are you ready to go?
I'm ready to go. Now, come on, now crank this motherfucker up.
Break it down like this.
Hello, Internet. Gino, that Guido Greco here again with another episode of Deep Listens. And today we have played Consume Me, which is a indie game that is not horny in any real way, despite the name of it. It is also not a game about vor, unlike Kirby. So joining me, as always, to discuss all things video games, Pete Busby. How you doing, Pete?
I'm doing good. A rare rainy day in Tucson today.
That would be a really good name for like a poem or something. A rainy day in Tucson.
Rainy day in Tucson. Yeah, that'd be a very grim poem, probably. Tucson isn't great in the rain. But fun fact for this week: you know how teens sometimes feel very uncomfortable in their own body?
Yes.
I'm going to give you some facts to make you feel uncomfortable in your body too, just to even things out. Yeah, 2 quick ones. So, do you know that each person's foot, on average, has about 250,000 sweat glands?
That's too many.
And these sweat glands, again, on average, produce half a pint of sweat a day.
Ew.
You're sweating out a pint of liquid through your feet on average every day.
Why the feet?
I think they're just like a natural cooling thing, sort of like an extremity, you know? Like the body's radiator. You know how like a lot of people when they sleep like to put like 1 foot outside the covers?
Yeah.
Obviously these people are degenerates, but the reason they do it, I assume, is to cool off the rest of their body.
I certainly would never do that.
No.
Never. Are the hands similarly sweaty?
I assume so. I didn't do any hand sweat research. I went deep into a foot rabbit hole. Turns out the internet has a lot of foot information that I had to sift through.
I hate to go down a foot rabbit hole.
Going down a foot rabbit hole, safe search on.
Yeah. Can I would like, speaking of sleeping and feet, I'd like to share a fact about myself to see if any of y'all have similar experiences.
Okay, this could go a number of directions, but I'll allow it.
It's going to be odd, but not problematic.
Well, that's great.
So sometimes when I'm sleeping, I like to take my heel and put it like in the gap in between my big toe and my second toe.
What?
Does anybody else do that? Not my heel, I guess, like my
foot
Achilles.
And in between the toes on your other foot? Is that what I'm imagining?
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, that's a weird freak thing. Sorry, I don't.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I don't think anyone else has ever done that.
Listeners, write in if any of y'all share this experience with me.
Okay, if any of our listeners would like to out themselves as a freak, please do write in.
We'd love to hear from you.
That other voice you heard is the mistress of games herself, M. Palladino. How you doing, M?
Hello, I'm doing well. I've got my plate of chips that I have to eat because this game made me hungry. I'm gonna do my regular intro with that I always do every single time.
You love it. You love doing this intro.
I am M. Palladino. I'm Game Maker M all over the internet. You can play my games that I've made over on my itch, Game Maker M, the letter M. And maybe I'll have a book going up there pretty soon.
Ooh.
Yeah, don't read it if you're not a freak. This one's for the weirdos, I think.
This one's for the heel between toes gang.
Yeah.
No, not those.
Real twisted
people. No, not those. Definitely not for them. But if you like big robots, if you like lesbians, if you like Greek gods, yeah, I'm not gonna spoil it, but
the Greek gods pilot the robots.
Are the robots lesbians?
The robots. The robots are kind of lesbians, yes.
Okay.
Mostly they are piloted by lesbians. The Greek gods are also all women, mostly.
So does that mean
Yeah.
you have restricted yourself to the canonically female Greek gods, or
No,
is Zeus a lady now?
Zeus is a woman.
Okay.
Hades is a woman.
Yep.
There are some neo pronouns in there. You'll have to check it
Okay.
out. This is
Okay.
not my world. I am writing fan fiction basically, but it's a pretty good series I'm writing in. So, and they allow you to work in that as much as you want. So, I'm gonna
Sick.
make some money.
Go for it. So that is Game Maker M everywhere, including Itch.
Itch and Blue Sky, if you want to hear me talk about stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, here's a crunch.
Oh.
Ooh, good crunch. Strong crunch.
Hmm.
What kind of chips are you munching on, just in case people want to know what makes that sound?
These are Ruffles.
Oh, that's it. Pete, are you a Ruffles or a Lay's with ridges person?
You know what? Yeah, if I can get another thing off my chest. I'm a ridged chip individual, but it bothers me that my local supermarket carries both ridged chips and wavy chips, and I cannot tell the difference.
Yeah, I thought that they're the same. I think that it's just Ruffles. Ruffles and Lay's owns Ruffles. So the fact that they have like Lay's wavy Lay's and then Ruffles next to it, as though it's not just the same fucking thing from the same fucking people, just put in two different bags, I find off-putting. But I'm a Ruffles person because I like saying Ruffles more than Lay's wavy Lay's.
Do we want to do crunchy and smooth peanut butter while we're at it too? I'm a smooth person myself.
Smooth M.
Yes, smooth.
Okay, good. We're in agreement. Podcast is in agreement. The correct type of
Canon
peanut
now.
butter, smooth.
These are the real polls that we should do in our Discord as opposed to what we did last time.
Which we're not going to discuss.
We're not going to discuss. We are moving on past that.
Correct. Speaking of moving on past that, time to plug the show and our other things. You can get in touch with the show at deeplistens.bluesky.social. That is our social media account. deeplistenspodcast.bluesky.social. deeplistenspodcast@gmail.com. That is our email address. And then deeplistens.libsyn.com. That's where we host the site and host the show and have comment sections that you can use. You can support the show on patreon.com/deeplistens. At the $1 tier, you get access to our Discord where you can talk to the hosts of the show and other members of the community. At the $3 tier, you get to listen to the OG Soncast, our anime show that Pete co-hosts with Braden and Chris. Excel Saga still? That's the next one coming up.
Well, Gino, I revealed something about myself last time that I send myself text messages as a form of note-taking. So let me read through them, and you stop me when I hit the title of the anime podcast, all right?
Okay, yep.
Saturday at 3 p.m., Dryer, Consume Me, 87, Test, Ginza Sushi, Test, Dog Food, Level Devil, Excel Saga,
There it
Silent
is.
Hill. Oh, okay. Yeah, Excel Saga.
Yep, it was Excel Saga still. Wait, what? There was just a number in there. 87? What?
Yeah, that was my order number at the local Indian restaurant.
Okay. All right, sure. This is the way a lunatic would take notes. I just want to say, this is some of the most disordered thinking I can imagine.
It would be more concise to just have a slip of paper that you just scribble your notes on. I
Yeah,
think.
or just write them on my hand, really, and wash them
Yeah.
off at the end of the day. Equally as
Just
useful.
memento yourself at this
Yeah.
point.
Mhm.
That'd be more reasonable than what you're doing. Every day I write myself a little letter and I put it in the mail, and then it shows up a day later. I'm like, wow,
Oh,
that Indian
these are-
food. Right.
I should go back and pick up that order.
Ugh, man. Speaking of the Discord, tangentially, before we got sidetracked about Pete's note-keeping habits that are deeply upsetting, we should probably discuss the Discord and the Discord report.
Discord report. Boop, doop, 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 doop. This week on the Discord, Final Fantasy IV Interlude has been being played, I believe. Is
Yep,
that
that is Final
what is
Fantasy
on?
for the After Years is our next
Ah,
Final
after
Fantasy
years.
show, and Jeff decided to play the version that has Interlude on it.
And I hear it's bad.
I hear all of
Is
it's
it?
going to be bad.
I tried to play that once a long, long time ago, and I didn't like it, even
Can
as a child.
can I ask, like, when does Final Fantasy stop going back to a well? Like ever?
Like,
I mean,
what's the most recent original content they've made for it?
Or like when will they stop making remakes of Final Fantasy IV?
Okay. I don't see it getting any better anytime soon. It might not be 4, but I think remakes and strip mining the past are just about the only things that Square Enix has successfully done in the last few years. So I don't see it slowing down.
Alright.
But yeah, we're playing Final Fantasy for the After Years, which I was actually talking to Jeff about this. I was like, I can't believe I can't buy it on Switch or any normal mobile platform. And his answer was, yeah, the places where you can play that game sure do say a lot about what they think about that product.
yep. Other things in the Discord. You played some Chaos Zero Nightmare.
Yeah, I
Uh,
have.
what'd you think of that?
It's a deck builder that is also a gotcha.
Yep.
So you can pull for a bunch of ladies they have that animation where each of their body parts kind of animates separately, which I don't.
Kind of wobbles. Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of wobble around, and if you're thinking, guess what you're thinking is correct in terms of where you think the wobbling is happening. Um, it's it's a deck builder, so it's basically Slay the Spire, but also a gotcha. My takeaway so far is that the parts where it's a gotcha make it way worse than if it was just a normal game that you paid money for. Um,
Yep.
all the
As it
parts that
always
try to,
does.
as it always does, like all of the nonsense that all of these games want to do to keep you on a treadmill, just make the gameplay experience worse. And otherwise, it's Slay the Spire. But I mean, it would be interesting as a like Slay the Spire variant. But yeah, it when it goes on the ranking of roguelike deck builders, it probably will not rank that highly because its game juice is weak. Or
I don't, that's not what the game juice is. The
sorry,
wobbling is the
it's
game
heart.
juice.
Sorry. The I forgot our 3 scores: deck ability, rogue ability, and heart. It's rogue ability and its heart are low. It probably will have the gallbladder or the appendix of the heart of the cards. It will not have the heart, the lungs, or the bones of the cards, if I had to
Yeah.
guess.
I mean, it doesn't have the heart. It definitely has the chest, though. So I mean, it's close.
Yeah, it's I mean it's well made for what it is. It's just, gotchas have to have like 7 different treadmills that you're running on at all times so that you never put it
Yep.
down. That part.
Speaking of
Lame.
gotchas,
Yep.
also in the Discord, I wrote a musical.
You did.
I don't know if you saw that in there. I made a musical about gotchas, and maybe I'll do something with that. I don't know what it would turn into. I don't know how to fund a musical, but seemed fun at the time, so I wrote it.
I really enjoyed that you were like, "Hey, a doctor prescribed me some medication for my ADHD," and then 5 minutes later there was a musical about gotchas.
Yeah. To quote what I said, my doctor prescribed me some Ritalin to try out for a month to see how it takes. I took it once, and since then, I've written a musical about gotcha games, and
So
then I
good,
shared it
bad.
in there. And I don't know if I should report that to my doctor as a positive effect or not, but sure was something.
You're gonna tell your doctor, and then your doctor's just gonna be like, "Yeah, musicals are a known side effect. Like it's gonna
That does
happen."
happen sometimes. I don't know.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, if people who take mushrooms one time have insufferable stories for the rest of their lives, you taking Ritalin one time and then making a fun gotcha musical is probably a better outcome.
Hmm.
I had a professor in grad school who went on an ayahuasca trip and would talk a lot about how it cured his asthma.
Hmm.
I
What?
got sick of that story. Yeah.
Fascinating. I'll believe it.
Sure, why
I
not?
can I can work that into my worldview. Sure.
That is largely, I think, what's going on the Discord currently. Oh, we've got
Yep.
an actual food poll. Smooth.
Oh yeah, I started that peanut butter poll while we
Good.
were talking about it.
Good. Yeah, I think that is mostly what's going on. So without further ado, unless there was something else,
Nope.
Okay. So without further ado, let's discuss Consume Me. I feel like you're the most qualified person to explain this because you went to school with the developer of this game.
I did. I went to NYU with Jenny, who the game is based on. Consume Me is I guess I would call it like a princess maker in style. It's a life sim where you are playing as Jenny when she is in high school and then later on when she goes into college. And she is dealing with basically everything in her high school career, which is very stressful. She is balancing, uh, like, let's see, where's the list? She has a bunch of stuff to do for her free time, which might include like doing her laundry. It might include taking her dog for a walk. And she is also trying to uh, like win over this boy she likes uh, and dealing with an eating disorder. And it is played out in a bunch of mini games where you are going to like, let's see. Well, what the simplest one is when you make your lunch, you have to sort of stack up these Tetris blocks on a plate, and then that is how you decide like what you're going to eat for that day. And if you're doing yoga, you have to like kind of stretch yourself out into like match a hands and head position on the thing. And it's a lot of little mini games like that as you are trying to basically do everything. Um, Doing makeup, folding clothes, walking the dog, don't upset your mom, and trying to get through life like that.
Yeah.
Sound
Yeah,
right?
so you were. Oh, go
Mhm.
ahead. Were you saying something?
Oh, just agreeing with M's assessment.
Yeah. So you are. This is kind of. Tell me if this is reductive. It is kind of an autobiography about disordered eating, and also
Mhm.
Warioware.
Yeah, kind of.
It's like a bunch of micro games.
Yeah. It is described as a semi-autobiographical game that depicts dieting, disordered eating, uh, and and also Jesus shows up later in the game. We should flag that because people have feelings on that subject.
Yeah,
We do.
we'll certainly
Um,
get there.
It's got
yeah,
a
I just
little,
wanted to content warn before we get
sure.
into it.
It's got a
Oh,
little persona to it too. Each day
Mhm.
you got to figure out how to fill up. I think you get 2 hours at baseline, and you can gain more
mhm,
doing other stuff. But you got to
Mhm.
figure out how to allocate your limited free time.
for sure.
Yes.
And you reminded me the content warning at the beginning of this game.
Oh yeah, we should
It's
have
one
done
of the
that.
best content warnings I think I've seen in a game.
Yeah.
It basically tells you this game is about disordered eating, and because it is about disordered eating, they will show like dieting behaviors, uh,
Mhm.
but rather than showing calories or anything like that, they show bits, which is a fake measure of food consumed, and it also is nonsensical. And they say basically we do this because this is a critique of disordered eating and not a guide to disordered eating.
Yes.
So we are not doing calorie goals. We are not doing any of that stuff. The food, you're not picking from a menu or prepping your food. It's Tetris basically on how you fill out your plate. You can raise and lower your bits via gameplay mechanics. It is very much playing around in the space of someone who is constantly thinking about how much they're eating, but not in a way that is replicable, which I think is really important.
One thing, it is bites,
Oh,
not
bites, my bad.
bits. Yeah, because you are biting into the food.
You are correct. My bad there.
Okay.
Yeah, Pete, did you find anything remarkable about the intro, the content warning?
I did. I agree with you. It was a very good content warning. We also should have set it up front. I suppose we did. I liked how the game was like, look, if you want to bounce, no hard feelings. You know, we get this isn't for everybody. Do your thing. And I was like, nice. That feels good in a world where I feel like Dead Souls is like mad at me if I don't play it.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a game that's not like this is. If you don't play this game, you're a little baby, and you're lesser than someone who did play this game.
Yeah.
This game's like we're trying to tell you a little bit about one person's experience of life, and you can engage with that or not, and it's cool. So the initial like way that you get the diet is Jenny going up to the mirror and then the mirror talking to you and basically
your
saying
reflection is mad at
yeah,
you.
it's mad at you because you are not skinny enough. Do you even have the goal of fitting into a bathing suit originally?
Not yet. No.
Not yet, right?
That's like chapter 2, I believe.
Yeah, it's
2 or
mostly
3.
you responding to your mother and her
Mhm.
criticism at the outset.
Yes. Yes, mom is giving you a hard time about your body, and
Just give me
then
the
you
business.
internalize it. Did you find that it was especially difficult in chapter 1 to deal with the diet?
In chapter
No.
1, no.
No, yeah, the game does a good job of sort of ramping it up in what I imagine would be the behavior of somebody engaged in this sort of disordered eating. Like it incrementally lowers your threshold for success.
Yeah, so there's a couple of things that are going on, right? Like you have to stay below a certain amount of bites. You also need to achieve certain goals. Like sometimes it's study, sometimes it's do your chores, sometimes it's spend time with other people. As you achieve those goals, you get rewards, like items you can use in the game, energy drinks, foods, makeup, all sorts of stuff like that. And then you kind of progress day to day, kind of as a life sim, like Persona, any of the games that kind of have you play out days in something resembling real time. Did you find any tension between the rewards coming from hitting the goals in your notebook with the central message of the game that this disordered eating is not a way to live?
Yeah, you could do a reading. Like society itself rewards the thin and pretty. I think we've all heard the phrase pretty privilege before. So you could make a reading of like these are social rewards, like the mirrors rewards. But it is odd from like a gameplay mechanic to say like, good work, continue what you're doing.
I mean, this is a difficult thing when you're making a game that is sort of a critique of the major thing that you're doing in the game. If you are rewarding the action, then that speaks to a certain like how you are looking at it. that might not be the goal of the game. Like, this is critical of disordered eating. It's critical of most of the things that go on in the game, I would say. Um, but in order to make a game about it, you kind of have to like have some give and take. There has to be some reward system in place, otherwise people will not play it because it will be unpleasant. Um, and it's a tough balance to strike. I think as far as like games who try to do something like this does a pretty okay job. Uh, I mean, you are not getting like anything super like good out of it. It's like, here's some kale. You can use kale on your next lunch now. Uh, just things like that that are like feeding into the core mechanic, you know?
Yeah, it definitely does. I think early in the game, the rewards you're getting are not that meaningful because you can do chores and get paid. You can you can get a decent amount of money. The goals you're trying to hit don't really require you to use energy drinks or coffee or anything like that. The further in you get into the game, the more those rewards might be the only items you get. Um, and at that point, I found it like the tension got bigger for me the further in I got. Like, as the game was trying to punish me for, you know, abusing the mechanics and kind of leaning into the disorder, it was also rewarding me more and more for exploiting the mechanics and getting payouts in the form of these items. Or, I mean, you can't proceed in the game if you don't do the disordered eating stuff, right?
Right.
Like, you only have 2 cheat days. If you don't, I think you have to hit every one of the goals, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
never failed one, so I couldn't say what happens when you fail, but I assume it's a game over.
Yeah, so I do feel like there's this tension, right? Like, on the one hand, the game is trying to be fun, right? The zany Warioware style mini games are trying to be fun. The topic it's dealing with is very heavy, and then it also has some gameplay loops that are very much rewarding you for exploiting the game, and the mechanics are all centered around something that is very difficult for people.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a fine line that it's walking, in a way, because it's trying to be appealing. It's also trying to have mechanics. It's not a game that's just, how do I put it? It's not just a pure visual novel narrative experience, right? Where you're always just going to experience the game as told, with no player input. You get various skills and rewards that kind of modify your gameplay experience. Like, you get outfits, you get abilities, and those improve your ability to actually complete the goals you're trying to get. So, for example, like, what was your favorite outfit you get in this?
Ooh. Like from a fashion standpoint or for a gameplay perspective?
Let's do fashion, then gameplay.
Okay, fashion, it would be the gutsy jacket. Like a sort of
Yeah.
like if I remember right, it's like a red bomber jacket sort of deal.
Yep, it's a great jacket.
Mhm.
Yes, I would
It's
wear that.
very
I don't look great
Akira.
in red
Yeah.
though. Yeah, it is very Akira. Gameplay perspective, I liked the one where you got 2 extra hours every time you finished a book. That one was pretty easy to set up.
Yeah, that one's very
What the
solid. Em, what
which one
about
is
you?
that? Hold on.
It's
Where do
Oh,
we get that?
like a
you didn't get the
green
librarian's outfit?
Oh,
skirt blazer sort of deal, I think.
yeah. You know what? I got that one, and then I was in college at the time, and that one's worth $45 if
Yeah.
you thrift it. So I almost immediately traded that one away.
Ah,
But it would have been good to have.
It's a good outfit
Um,
that Oliver didn't deserve.
yeah, we're gonna talk about Oliver.
oh, we will.
Don't worry about that. My favorite, I was gonna pick the red bomber jacket because that one's just cool as hell.
Oh yeah.
And it gives you more guts, I believe, so
It
it's
Yes.
does.
useful. especially later on when you are low on guts. I also like the workout. Like it's got like leg warmers and
Yeah, the like
kind of
80s
like a
jumpsuit deal.
leotard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yoga outfit. Yeah.
Yeah, that one makes it so when you exercise, it does not cost, or it's one less time. So usually you can only do like two things, but you can sort of modify that depending on what you do. There are things that cost zero, like watering the plants, which I like to do. So this makes like doing some exercise pretty quick to do. And the other one that I was thinking of was oh shoot.
What does
Uh
it do, and what is it, or what does it look like? Because
yeah, hold on. I know I wanted to mention another one. I lost it. I'll stick
oh,
with my first answer.
for me, I thought the fashion wise, I really enjoyed the Eggsby outfit, the one where you're
Okay.
just kind of
Egbo.
an egg.
Okay.
Yeah. Egbo never goes out of style.
Yeah,
Never.
Egbo, very cute. I thought it was a very cute outfit. Um, from a gameplay perspective, I think that the workout clothes are the most broken thing in the game. Maybe entirely, because if you get enough exercises, like there's exercises that can boost your mood, there's exercises that can boost your guts, there's an exercise that can convert all of your guts into energy, and then you can do the exercise that boosts your mood and boosts
Yep.
your guts. So you can just loop exercise for like 5 6 actions, and then that can just allow you to modify your stats however you need. And there's also like a few rewards for just combo, and that seemed to be the only way I could get that combo really high is by lots and lots of exercise. It
You just
also,
drink a lot of coffee.
well, coffee's expensive.
True.
Coffee's expensive. Using the power of my mind to convert all of the food in my stomach into energy, um, that's free. It's terrible. It's terrifying as a
Yeah.
concept. Um, but that was how I dealt with like the late game was you, there's an ability you can get that converts all of your happiness into an extra hour on the
Yeah.
clock. And then I converted all of my energy into happiness and then all of my guts into energy. And I took like 8 actions and gave myself extra time.
Yep.
It felt broken.
And you could
Thanks
stay
yoga
up
outfit.
late, so you could just keep doing that. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep, the
that's
yoga
another thing.
outfit.
I wanted to talk about staying up late as another thing where like game doesn't really punish you for. Like if you have enough energy, mood, I forget exactly what it drains. You can stay up almost indefinitely. Next day you're just sort of fine. I didn't notice any drawback at least.
I mean, I usually ended up with a headache the next
Yeah.
day.
That's what
Um,
happens is if
Oh,
you
is
have
that
too
what
much
it is?
caffeine,
yeah.
you can get a like super bad headache if you have too much caffeine to get the energy.
Oh,
And if you
okay.
do that, then every action you take decreases your mood for the entire day.
I just assumed that just started happening when you got to college. Like the game was like, you're in college now, your head hurts.
I
It
mean, yeah.
seems it seems to be like at the beginning of the disclaimer or the warning at the beginning of the game, they say, "Look, there's going to be some stuff that you're going to do, and the consequences won't come till later." And that seems to be one of them. Is like if you're
Okay.
just downing a ton of caffeine, you get headaches, and then that has a negative gameplay loop.
That makes sense.
But yeah, like the outfits, the exercises, like all those abilities, they really give you a lot of ways to mitigate what should be a pretty debilitating eating problem. Um, or at least, I guess, lifestyle problem, really, right? How much do you feel like this game felt centered around the eating versus kind of autobiographical about someone who's going through high school and going through kind of normal high school drama? Um,
Wait, say it again.
how like the game up front is very much like this is a game about disordered eating, right? Like that's kind of what it hits you with up front. And I found that after maybe a chapter or two, the eating part of it, yeah, it happened throughout the game, but that was not what the game was about anymore. It was a lot more about the various dramas in Jenny's life and overcoming them. Did you find that to be the same?
Yeah, I mean, it does seem as though there is like it seems like the early versions of this game were much more focused on like the eating disorder aspect. Um, like when I saw this back in NYU when I was there, it was like basically the food mini game. And then a couple of the like the makeup one was in there in an early form. Uh, and so it was very much more like focused on that, but it didn't really have a cohesive way of keeping it all together. Um, so as it kind of like Jenny was working with another game developer. Let me get his name. AP Thompson, who was kind of like the producer on this game, and kind of he sort of put a more defined structure around it, I would say. Um, this is coming from like interviews with Jenny. Uh, there was a talk at NYU in this past week, I believe, where they were talking about this game and a couple of other games. And they kind of like talked about how that uh, autobiographical aspect kind of sort of fell to a little bit more fantastical like elements, not like sword and sorcery fantastical, but in the sense of like kind of had to abstract it a little bit more. um and so you get stuff like your rival in high school and the boyfriend that was like not a one-to-one, true to life situation. So I kind of roundabouted your question a little bit, but I think it all like sort of leads to like this is a game that sort of grew out of itself a little bit,
Hmm.
um, and I think it is uh, not like over I don't know oversaturated with the eating disorder elements, um, and you know being a teenager is hard.
Hmm.
Um, I think that it would feel incomplete without all of these like outside stressors, especially when that is reflected on like you know what's going on with you eating wise. You know,
Yeah, I think it to your point of like the game grew out of itself. I feel like
hmm
there's maybe a 1 to 2 hour game that's a critique of eating, of disordered
right?
eating in this game. But it's in fact a 7 hour game that is much more expansive. And so you kind of see where it stopped being that original thesis. And I don't know do you know how long this game was in development?
This game was in development for about 10 years.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, like I played this probably in 2016 or 17. Um, I think I don't remember, when did I graduate? Hold on. Yeah, 2015 at the very earliest. So it's been in some form for a while. Uh,
Yeah.
so it was pretty like solid. Like most of the stuff was together in the first like 3 years, I think Jenny says in that NYU interview. Yeah, I graduated in 2017 from NYU. So there you go.
Yeah. So like This game seems like it definitely took on a life of its own.
Mhm.
And Pete, as someone who hates teens,
Sure.
how did
Yeah.
you
Oh
find
no.
the expanded focus of teens and teen life?
I think when you like engage with teen media, which I try not to do, but sometimes I'm forced
Teenia.
to do it. Thank you. I'm not going to do that. When you engage with teen media, I think you get sort of like one of two big reactions, right? One of them is like, oh man, I remember this. It really is tough being a teen, and we should remember that, right? Which a valid reaction, but not the reaction I have. When I engage with teen media, my reaction is usually, why are teens always complaining? Their problems are pretty low stakes, Your boyfriend broke up with you, move on with your life. And I'm a generally cold and callous individual. I'm willing to admit that. So I like lost the thread a little bit of the game when I was just dealing with sort of like standard teen problems like the SAT and college applications and stuff like that. I don't really care about that. But like the eating disorder, the disordered eating stuff was sort of presented in a similarly sort of low stakes manner. Which like I'm sure, you know, experiences vary, and everybody sort of deals with their issues with, body dysmorphia and body image and things like that in their own way. But I think it would have been more interesting had the game expanded on that as opposed to dealing with the SAT, because I don't really give a shit about the SAT. You know what I mean?
Definitely fair. I mean, it it definitely spends a lot more time on the SAT and tests and boyfriends than it does. The eating disordered stuff is always present, right? Every day you have to eat. Every day you have to play that mini game. Every day you have to keep your guts up and you have to keep your bites up, and you need to balance all of that stuff. It's a constant background noise to the game. But the main, I guess, tension points stop being about food pretty early on, I feel. Um,
Yeah. And
right? Like you're really dealing with, can you read things fast enough? Can you study fast enough? Can you earn enough money? And that is really where the tension picks up after
I'm not
chapter one or
saying
two.
the game is bad for focusing on
No,
this. I'm just saying teens are bad.
Yeah,
which,
okay.
which we, as we all know, is true.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think
Um,
anyone disputes that.
no, no one would. No one would dispute that. Um, I think that's a very fair point. And the game, I found it more interesting the further in I got, but I did feel like it just changed. It just metamorphized into a bigger thing than I originally had allotted for it. And with that, I think there's also a tension in the gameplay loop itself, the Warioware nature of the gameplay. Um, did you find that the micro games overstayed their welcome at all?
Did the micro game. So one thing I will say for the game is that it sort of speeds up your mornings, which I like.
Mm-hmm.
If it made me like go through the morning routine every time, I would find it annoying. There is one time where it starts to make you repeat it, and I actually found that very compelling from a storytelling perspective. I'm sure we'll get to that.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
But the one I played the most was the reading minigame. Like I said, because
Mm-hmm.
I prioritized my sort of
Yep.
library outfit. To be honest, that was my favorite of the mini games. So, like, while I did find the returns diminishing, they didn't diminish so much that I was annoyed to play them.
Very fair. And did you find the micro games, any of them, overstay their welcome, or did you find them compelling the whole way through?
I think they are short enough that it's hard to like get bogged down with them. Like I would I would do like, I don't know, folding clothes and
That's another good one.
uh yeah, like I would do the mini games for like, I don't know, 10 seconds, 20 seconds maybe. And then I would go and do something else. So it would be very easy to just like play a different one if I wanted to, like read a book. Um, and I don't think that it was like too much of any one thing, you know? Um, I mean, at a certain point, you were like studying for tests, and that requires a lot of reading. so you're doing that one pretty consistently. So yeah, I didn't find any problems with it, but I can see how someone who like just wanted the story like would quickly find them a little unwieldy.
I think that they're pretty comical to play. Like they're
Mhm.
funny to look at and funny to execute. Uh, there might just be too few.
Hmm.
Like
As
there's
in,
yoga,
You want
there's
some more
not the
reading.
variety.
frequency's too low, as in there's too little variety.
That's the thing. Yeah. Like they're just like not that you're not doing them enough, that there's not that many of them. There's
Right.
walking the dog, watering the plants, cleaning, which is usually the same mini game regardless of what you're cleaning, right? You're scrubbing, um, putting on makeup, yoga. There's an SAT mini game,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
is that it? Did I miss one? Reading books? I think I didn't say. So there's like 7,
Yeah,
I
I
think.
think
There's
that's
like the
most of them.
stacking. There's the stacking stuff, but you don't really get like. I don't think you get evaluated on that.
Yeah, there's the existential dread
Yeah.
nightmares that are stacking
Hmm.
stuff. That's you do that a few times. So I think it's maybe 10, less than 10 micro games over the course of it, and there's variants on them, right? Like you can do you can put on makeup in your mirror, and that can have cockroaches in your house. But if you put on makeup that is sample makeup at the mall, it consumes guts, and there are spiders on the mirror, right? Like there's slight variance, but it's not meaningfully changing the
Sounds
micro
like
game.
someone hasn't cleaned their bathroom in a while.
Yeah, I
There
didn't
are,
do a great
there are
job.
only spiders if you don't clean the bathroom.
Gino, you
There's-
trash goblin.
It's
You
fine.
fool.
I was too busy studying and infinitely looping yoga.
Aren't
Did you
we
ever get
all?
to negative bites, by the way?
No, you can
No,
get to negative bites.
Jesus,
You sure can.
What
that's
happens?
fucked up.
If you get to negative bites, it says if you go to bed with negative bites, it'll be bad. So
Yeah,
you get a game over. So you need to eat a snack before bed.
huh? Yeah, it would be bad.
Yeah,
You
all right.
should you should try not to have negative bites just in your daily life. I think is a good
I
good
had an
advice
infinite
from this
loop
game.
going.
But don't do those in your real life either. That's
Okay.
also bad.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
found that the micro games, like, I enjoyed them for sure at first. Um, Once it got further in, and I really needed to, achieve a lot of goals in order to advance the story. The fact that there were so few of them, I just saw them so much more because I couldn't afford to just do one action, do 2 actions, and
Yeah.
call it a day. Right? At a certain point, you have to loop stuff.
Can I say, while we're on the
Mhm.
subject of the like the stuff that you had to do each chapter,
Mhm.
um, at the start of every chapter, you like have a little check-in with your mirror. And your mirror is like, you got to do all this stuff, and here's a list, and then it just pops up like 50 things. It's like, all right, you get all that. You're like, no, I didn't. Every time a new chapter started, I was like, "Oh, Jesus Christ, how am I gonna do this?" It's the like mounting tension every time a new chapter starts
Mhm.
is so palpable. I was like, "That's very effective," and then having to like basically find the decisive path is maybe that leads you to a infinite yoga loop. uh I didn't find that one, but apparently it can happen.
One the one that got me, Em, I agree with you about the tension of your fresh week of goals.
Mhm.
Maybe the one teen moment that got me is when you find yourself in the elevator with Oliver's mom
Oh
unexpectedly.
yeah.
I was like, oh
Mhm.
God, what's gonna happen now? What's wrong with his mom? It's actually very lovely, and Oliver is a weirdo.
Yes. Yes, that is, so we can go into that. So like the first thing you're dealing with is just self-doubt and normal like body image issues. Then your goal is to fit into a bathing suit basically. Then your goal is to win over Oliver's affections basically. He's a guy who you have a crush on. Oh no, I guess that's kind of tied in with your with the bathing suit. You're going to wear the bathing suit cuz Oliver's going to be at this party. And then you end up dating him anyway. And then the next thing is basically getting the approval of Oliver's mom by studying and everything. What did we think of Oliver to start and as we go?
Oh my god.
M?
Okay. I'm gonna just straight out of the gate.
Take a second.
I just want to say, if a boy invites you over to quote unquote a date, and that date is going to be him playing video games, it is not a date, and you should break up with him immediately. I'm pointing at all of the billions, perhaps trillions of women who listen to this podcast.
Perhaps trillions, yeah.
Yeah. You should not go to that date and also break up with that guy, because holy shit.
That is a date activity when you are in deep with someone. That is not a early date. Just hang out and watch them play games.
It depends. Maybe not even when you're in deep. Because they might just be looking for someone to like feed them snacks or some shit while they're playing games. Oliver is so frustrating. Because really early on, he's like an older boy. He lives in the same building that you live in, and he's like just newly out of high school, I think, where he like graduates during the course of the story and goes off to college. And he's just such a little teenager. It's hard to say anything good about him. Fortunately, he does have a kind of like a redemption arc. Once you like, I guess, mention that you are thinking of it as a like video game, and he's like, "Whoa, that's not how we gotta do this."
You're like, oh, I need to text you every day, or else our relationship will die. And he's like,
it was
what?
Like, what? That's
yeah.
crazy.
You're like, it'll suffer 3 poison damage each day, and he's like, whoa, hold on.
You literally say
is-
poison damage to him. Yeah.
Yeah. Which was very funny. And I was like, and then he like is cool about it, and he's like, oh, and I'll, show up if you need me. You just gotta call me, and I'll come over.
Tuxedo Mask style, which is very appropriate.
Yeah, it was a cool cutscene. I really feel like you're burying the lead on this one, though.
What?
Yeah, Pete, what's the lead?
Yeah, the lead is Oliver makes you hide in the closet.
Yeah, there's that too.
For like
I forgot about that
amount of time.
Yeah, there's that too. That's like I think, is it the same event? Like they go right from playing video games to I have to hide you from my mom.
Yes.
Yeah, as I recall it, Oliver turns to you and says basically, "Do you want to make out?"
Yeah. And then his mom shows up.
Yeah, which leads to one of the funnier mini games in the game where you're just smashing faces and arms are flying, and it's very teen coded. And then his mom shows up and he's like, "You need to hide."
Yeah.
And that should have been it. That should have been the end of the relationship.
Yes.
Yeah, and Jenny never really gets a good explanation. She's like, "What the heck was that? Are you ashamed of me?" And he's like, No. I'm just like the perfect son." And she's like, "So why is dating me not compatible with you being the good son? Why
Great
is
question.
that attention?" And Oliver's like, "Well, you know how it is." And no, we don't, Oliver.
Yeah.
He's older than Jenny, and he honestly, like, once he goes to college, I kind of expected the relationship to fall apart immediately, but it doesn't. It like lasts for another year, and he seems like he's a pretty good long distance boyfriend. After you win his mom's approval, which says a lot about him, right? That he's like more obsessed with his mom's image of him than he is with his girlfriend's image of him.
Yeah,
Um,
like there's a reasonable way to do that. Like, oh, I'd like you to meet my mom, I want her to like you, that sort of thing. That's not what this is.
no, it is very much he is ashamed of you until he has reason not to be,
Yeah.
which is gross. But then when he's not ashamed of you, he's a decently supportive long distance boyfriend. Um, at least until you try to pass enough classes to go to his college. Well, I before we get there, I guess we should say like there's the Oliver part, then there's getting into college. He's going to Cornell, and you don't have good enough grades, so you try to do all these goals, and it's cool because like to achieve all of these goals, like I need recommendations, I need to get a high score on the SAT, and like all those things. But all of the activities you need to do to make it so that oh, I'm definitely gonna get the good grades and get into Cornell, the actual outcome of the story doesn't align with Jenny's view of what she'll need to do, right? Like,
No.
you achieve all the goals, you still don't get into Cornell, right? Like, there's points where, oh, if I study X amount of times, I'm going to get a good grade on this test, and you just don't. And so it does a good job of showing you like the goals that she's setting for herself, the standards she's setting for herself, don't actually align with success in the real world in any tangible way. Um, which I think is an interesting mechanic, or an interesting way to show that misalignment that I think a lot of teenagers view, right? Like a lot of teens view it as if I don't get into this college, or if I don't go to this party, or if I don't fit into this outfit, my life's gonna end.
She literally says, "I will die if this does not happen."
Yeah, diet or die.
Yeah.
And yeah, the way they show that I think is very clever. Um, but yeah,
I wanted to
what?
talk. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I did. We sort of alluded to this. Oliver breaks up with you at
Mhm.
some point in college. I forget why. I mean, I was just sort of waiting for him to get out of the picture anyway.
He stops. He's like being distant, and Jenny is getting more and more
In
stressed.
body and
Trying,
soul.
yeah, she's trying to like get into transfer into his college so that they can be
Right.
together. And he's starting to be more and more distant. And like at the height of finals, he's like super late for a call. And she's like, "What the heck? Like I'm super stressed, and you're not even respecting my time." And then he's like, "Oh, by the way, I'm breaking up with you." And did you read like there's a text of Oliver kind of saying why he's breaking up and how it plays in an infinite scroll behind you? Did you read it?
I didn't get to this part yet.
No, I didn't. I didn't read it. I mean, I like looked at some of the text and I was like, I'm not gonna read all that.
Okay, I read it. It's not that much text. It just loops a bunch. But yeah, it's he got a crush on another girl at his school, and
How
they had a
boring.
lot in common.
What a boring piece of shit.
Classic.
But what I was gonna say is, after you break up, that's when the game sort of like inverts the morning routine,
Mm-hmm.
and everything gets all gray, and like the things that you were doing before, just ripping off the covers, like swiping down, all that stuff, just stops working, and everything's the same but just harder and grayer. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's a nice way to sort of like represent depression, really. Is that just like the things that you used to just do just don't work like they should anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very interesting way to depict all of that. Um, and I also think this is the point. It is around this point also where religion comes into this game. Um,
Yes.
when you're super stressed out before you blow up at Oliver, you get told by one of the teaching assistants, who's like the perfect girl from your high school, that she's going to church and you should go with her. And she ends up not going. You go by yourself. And at this point, you're cramming for tests and you get blockers that basically like mental blocks that you need to do something to get them out of the way, like eat chips or get your mood down to zero, improve your mood to 100%. Like, they're random and they're difficult. And then you go to church. And Em, what happens in church?
So she gets to church and then she like falls asleep and she has this weird dream while the preacher guy is singing a song, which is like I think the only words in this entire game are in that song. Um, and she basically has like a religious epiphany and kind of finds out that she could just sort of pray to fix her eating disorder
Yeah.
and deal with the stress of her life. And she goes out like a new woman.
Yep. And while M's description, while accurate, I do think undersells this moment a bit. It is long.
Yeah.
Like this sermon and the sort of like wiping the screen minigame that attends it is, I don't know, 5 minutes. Like, would
I
that
think
be
it's the
accurate?
longest
Longer?
single scene in the game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's long. And I think this is where white Jesus shows up. And I know there's like a long, long, and frankly shameful tradition of depicting Jesus, a man born in the Middle East, as white with blue eyes, but this is a very white blonde Jesus.
It is. It
Yep.
is. And when you leave from church, she's just like, I feel like I'm different now. And you unlock the ability to pray. And then when your character has a block, once a day you can pray, which it's funny. The way prayer works is
This was funny. I did appreciate this.
yeah, you put your hands together, and then the head goes down, and then you get another there's a lot of gesture based controls where you're swiping up, down, left, right. At the end, you swipe up, and her hands open up to reveal a phone, and she's texting with Jesus, basically. And the texts are always like, I don't understand, whether I should be eating. This whole dieting thing feels really bad. And then like a Bible verse gets texted back to you about like, enjoy of the food and drink of the wine. And she's like, I'm not old enough to drink wine, Jesus. And then Jesus sends her a winky face.
Yeah, there are like
Thanks.
legit Bible references though. Like they put like Ecclesiastes 14:12.
Mhm.
I don't know if I'm getting the numbers right, but they actually give you chapter and verse.
They do. And it's interesting because it really feels like it's a religious epiphany that comes out of nowhere. And then it actually solves her problems, like from a gameplay perspective, right? Like the blockers that used to you had to really contort yourself to get around them. Like the prayer, instead of having to do something usually pretty deleterious to get rid of the mental block, instead it gives you energy, emotional health, and guts. It heals you instead of damaging you, and it just removes the blocker entirely. So there's a very clear positive gameplay metaphor being used here, and I think this might be the first game we've ever played for this show that has a positive perspective on religion.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Usually, it's the villain or neutral at best.
yeah.
Mhm.
I was like trying to parse like the game's attitude towards it too, because Gino, as you said, like there's a positive gameplay mechanics. Like it could have been like, oh, those teens, they just get so invested in something, and then they're really gung ho about it for a while, and then they drop off for a little bit, which is sort of what happens in the game. But
Yeah.
one, it's one of the most powerful mechanics you get, and two, it seems like you're actually texting with Jesus. I wasn't
Yeah.
really sure how to like read it.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it seems like it was a big part of her life, and this is a semi-autobiographical game. So it
Yeah.
feels like the sort of thing where it must have actually felt important. Like, I don't think you make that a very important gameplay mechanic that is kind of one of the only ways you can overcome the difficulties that the chapter 6 throws at you if you didn't feel it was super important for you getting through college, right?
Yeah, I mean I think that's the read. Yeah.
But yeah, she goes to Bible study. Eventually, in the epilogue, basically, she falls out of her Bible study group. Doesn't really say whether she becomes less religious or anything like that. But yeah, it is an interesting perspective. It is something that most games don't even get into, um, especially small indie games that aren't like overtly Christian. You know what I mean? Like obviously those exist. Braden will never not have the biblical alternative to Myst on his Twitch intro screen because there was actually someone who made a biblical game that was supposed to be a competitor to Myst. This is not an overtly Christian game, but it gets into it for sure in the last chapter. Any other thoughts on that? Because I feel like it does come out of nowhere, and it is one of the more deliberate gameplay metaphors that they deploy.
Yeah, honestly, I think I think the surprise is really the emphasis here. Like if the game had been if like there had been religious motifs in the beginning, I think I wouldn't have been so like thrown by it. But the only thing I can remember is there is a cross hanging in Oliver's house.
Yeah.
But I mean nobody ever mentions it or points it out, which I mean in the real world, why would you? You know, you don't just go around pointing at crosses and asking people about them. But
I do. I don't know about you.
it does. But games and like life don't line up perfectly. You know, you do
Oliver's
different things in
mom.
each.
Oliver's mom's religious, but that also seems like she's the goody two shoes mom who's like the head of the PTA or whatever. So
Yeah.
it seemed aligned with her. I didn't necessarily expect Jenny to also kind of have that streak. And the girl who gets her into going to church is the goody two shoes from her high school.
Yeah. Oliver's mom though also picks seemingly Catcher in the Rye as the book for the high school students to read. So she obviously is a terrible person.
Yeah, that's
a good
fair.
point.
I feel like because I didn't see the very end of this game, I got to the church section, and then we had to record. So I could not say if it like resolves well or not.
It fades, honestly. It just disappears.
Just
at some point.
fades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like the eating stuff. Like once you get past this kind of final moment where Oliver breaks up with you and you kind of get over that breakup, a lot of the gameplay stuff that really, occupied you, you kind of get almost a montage jumping forward in time, where the things that used to be mechanics start to fall away. Like at first, you're filling up your plate and you don't need to fill up the whole plate anymore. Like you can just fill up a few squares and then it lets you move on. And then eventually the plates just become plates and the food behaves with physics instead of locking into place like Tetris. And it just becomes normal, right? It becomes a more normal process. And I think the same thing happens. At first, you're like going to Bible study, and the reading mechanic is you reading the Bible. And then at a certain point, mom is like, hey, what happened to Bible study? And she's like, once I started doing some stuff, the Bible study people started judging me. And then it cuts to her having a drink using the like pour food down your mouth micro game.
Yeah.
You know what it reminded me of? Which makes sense because I think this is the most accurate depiction of teens in media. Was A Clockwork Orange.
Whoa. Hold on. Say more.
Yeah. If you've read the original British version of A Clockwork Orange, there's a final chapter where that they cut actually from the American version. But the final chapter is basically just the main character aging out of committing crimes and rampaging with his boys. He's basically just like, I'm too old for this. And it doesn't resolve in some dramatic way. The conditioning that he went through didn't do it. He's not, like Saul on the way to Damascus. He has no conversion. To stick with our Christian theme, he just grows up. And I think it sort of operates the same way here. Like there's no dramatic moment where just like God disappears from your life or you're suddenly cured from your disordered eating. She just sort of grows up.
Yeah, other things come in and out, and I
Right.
think the ending of the game. I read a few reviews here and there, and it seemed like the ending was the most divisive part of the game.
Hmm.
In some ways, some people
Yeah.
found it ended abruptly.
I can see that.
I found it to be pretty impactful. Like, you get an ending and it's very gamified at first, and it's like, well, you got the bad ending. Clearly, if you wanted to get the good ending, you would have to do these 7 more extra things that you need to do, and you're gonna need to read the entire Bible, and you're gonna have to get an A+ on every test. It's unachievable nonsense, because the standards that you're ratcheting up on yourself, they never end, right? Like the
Right.
judgment and the anxiety never go away, if you keep feeding into them. So just it's funny, like when you complete chapter 6 and Oliver breaks up with you, it just says like you've attained transcendence, and all of a sudden all the goals stop mattering. And so like the game tries to set you up with, oh, there's going to be even more ridiculous nonsense you have to do, and if you do that, then you get the good ending, and you see the good ending, and it's like Jenny, skinny and rich, and
Cured
living a
cancer,
ridiculous
Nobel
life.
Prizes galore. Yeah.
Yeah, I love the cured cancer is great because it's the throw food down your mouth micro game again. Except it's a beaker and it's like cancer cured.
I see.
But
I mean, it's hard to get a. It's hard to do an ending for a game like this because it is like autobiographical to a point. So, like I don't think Jenny in real life like
Self-actualized. Yeah. Just
has fully resolved all these things. So how do you make a satisfying end if life goes on,
yeah, and what happens basically is it plays out the years and years and years between when the game started development and when it ended and got
Mhm.
released. So like she moves back in with her parents, and she changes hairstyles, she gets new clothes, she
a few
makes new
times, actually.
friends. What was that?
And she changes hairstyles a few times.
Yeah,
Mm.
clothes a few times. She gets a dog. She gets another dog. She, realizes that she doesn't want to be pre-med and decides to go into video games.
Hmm.
And starts going to Bible study. Stops going to Bible study. Starts hanging out with her developer friends. Meets a producer who tells her about timelines. All the clicking around for. Reading, like all of a sudden it goes from reading books and the Bible to looking at a laptop and making the game, and it's interspersed with screenshots and pictures of Jenny at various times in her life, and it's kind of pixelated in a way that makes it kind of match the art style of the game. It almost looks like an early 2000s cell phone image, a lot of the pictures, that really low resolution picture. But it just kind of works forward through COVID, through breakups, through dating another person now, um,
Mhm.
and just kind of ends at her releasing the game, kind of. Um, and
Hmm.
it kind of works also as a credits, because each of the people that she's meeting in her life who helped with the game, show up as well, and then get called out in the credits.
See, I don't find that abrupt at all. I think that's a
I don't
nice
either.
way to do it.
I think it's great. I'm definitely pro the ending of this game. I think letting life just spiral forward, and see how the gameplay mechanics that made up the main part of the game start to fall away as her life becomes more normalized. Like yoga becomes ballet, and she gets into
Mhm.
ballet and becomes someone who has ballet as a hobby.
And that's true. She actually talked about that in the talk that I saw. She was like, I needed something to do that wasn't just making this game, and I needed something that was like very regimented, like ballet.
Yeah, I mean, if you want regimented, ballet will do it for you.
Yep.
Yeah, like the dog walking minigame, she gets 3 Pomeranians, and then you don't actually move forward. Like in the dog walking minigame, you're alternating positions with the dog. Once you get 3 Pomeranians, they just loop around you infinitely.
That's funny.
It's
That's
really
pretty
good.
funny.
Like I really enjoyed when also when you have 3 Pomeranians and you try to feed the dogs off of your plate when you're making food, they just keep coming
That's
infinitely.
continuous. Yeah.
That's really good.
That's so
Yeah, so
funny.
I felt like it was a good conclusion. Pete, you saw the conclusion. Do you agree? Did you have any other thoughts from the conclusion?
No, I mean I could see where people would make the critique it was abrupt, not because like the game doesn't lead to it, but because it condenses, I don't know, like 10 years into,
Right.
let's say 10 minutes, whatever it is. But I did also enjoy it. I thought it was interesting. You don't see too many people like putting actual photos of themselves in games, mostly because the world's a terrible and horrible place. But I hope it worked out. I mean, I think it was a powerful move. I just fear for the consequences.
Yeah, that's definitely fair. But yeah, that's Consume Me. It also gives you a score. Pete, what grade did you get?
I got an A, which apparently isn't as good as I thought it was.
What?
I got an A++.
Yeah, Gino's breaking the curve over here.
Goddamn.
Yeah, I got the valedictorian achievement.
Oh,
Ooh.
Yeah,
look at you.
there were
Mhm.
things that they were keeping track of throughout the game. Like,
Shit.
and
I gotta
yeah,
finish this game.
Yeah, beat Gino's get like an S or something, or an A+++.
Yeah. I don't think I'm
see.
gonna. I don't think I have the yoga sheet that Gino has. Are you proud of yourself, Gino? You got
Yes.
the best score in having an eating disorder.
That was the thing. It was like it gave me an A++ for min-maxing and eating disorder, and I was like, is this good?
Yay!
Well, thank you.
At first, the game was like, well, if you want to get an even higher score, you're going to need to do, and then it cuts to like the actual ending. But I was like, I don't know that I could do this any better, or much better. Doing good stuff with a bad situation.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I am one of the elite 10.4% of players that got an A++.
Wow.
Oh man, and the fact that you know that, I'm sure made it all the sweeter.
It does. I'm looking at my achievement right now in Steam, and wow, what an achievement. All right, well, I think that does it for Consume Me, unless, Pete, do you have any thought? I guess, actually, what does it feel like playing one of your classmates' games?
Oh, it's
Yeah,
nice.
an experience none of us will ever have, I assume.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'll put a game out someday and then we can talk about that.
That'd be great.
Yeah, like this was kind of a like it was something that people were talking about a lot when I was in school. Because this has won, let's see. It won the Independent Games Festival Seamus McNally Grand Prize. It won the Nouveau Award. It won Excellence in Design, or it was a finalist. Excellence in Design, Excellence in Narrative, Excellent in Visual Art. It is up for a Golden Joystick Award on Steam right now.
Mm.
So this is like, it was kind of something that was in the game center when I was there, and people were hot on. And so seeing it actually come out has been really like interesting for a lot of reasons. Jenny has said that she is like kind of disappointed that it's not doing as well as she hoped, having put 10 years into it, which uh as we've seen, you should probably just like not spend 10 years making a game.
Unless it's
uh
Silk Song.
yeah, I mean, like, there are certain people who can do it, but if you want to her thing is she wants to sell 1 million copies of it. And so on her Blue Sky, she has or I think it's on her Instagram that she puts them up. She has videos where every day she posts a video about the game, to be like, posting a video every day until my game sells 1 million copies.
How many games sell 1 million copies?
I mean, I don't know.
Like, if this was a
Probably,
book, like, there'd be like
probably not
numbers.
as many. Yeah. Not as many as you might think. But
Yeah,
you
I
know, it's
mean,
good to have goals.
I think 1 million copies, it's hard to know nowadays with multi-platform releases. Like, it used to be that I could probably tell you how many games sold 1 million copies back when things were mostly coming out on console or Steam. But now with all the different online marketplaces and digital marketplaces, like, it's so hard to know. She would know. I don't know that we'd have any way to gauge that, though.
Yeah. Like, a list of best-selling video games. There's, there's about 50 on here, and I don't know how many they've sold on this list. So it is hard to say when typical popular indie games do about 400,000 to 1.5 million copies.
Okay.
This is just someone on Reddit who says that, so take that with a grain of salt. Yeah. So, yeah, who knows? But good luck to her. And if we help in any way,
We got 3 more sales out of us.
yeah, sold at least to us and maybe to some of the people on the Discord. So, yeah,
We did our part.
Yeah, and if Jenny listens to this and wants to do an interview about the game, I'm repeating what I said last time. Welcome to write in, and we'll set something up, because this is a good one, and I think it's gonna be something that people talk about for a while. It's not just gonna like fizzle out or something. So
Yeah, hope so.
mhm.
With that, I believe it is my turn to pick the next game we
is.
play.
Yep.
And we've been lobbied pretty hard on the Discord to cover a specific game.
I'm sure
And
it's reprehensible in some way.
it doesn't seem to be. It seems like it's actually good.
Okay.
It's on
I'm
the short
excited
list.
for this one.
It's on the short list, and it looks good. And so I'm gonna go ahead and pick it. I'm picking Dispatch.
Hell yeah.
Dispatch. What is
Uh,
Dispatch, Gino?
Dispatch is a superhero workplace comedy where choices matter. Manage a dysfunctional team of misfit heroes and strategize who to send to emergencies around the city, all while balancing office politics, personal relationships, and your own quest to become a hero.
All right.
All
I mean,
episodes
it
out
sounds
now.
good. I've texted the title to myself, so I'm ready to go.
This has let's see. It has a bunch of the Critical Role people doing voices. Aaron
Nice.
Paul, I believe, is the main character.
Like Breaking Bad's
So
Aaron Paul?
yeah. Yep.
Hmm.
Critical, the streamer, is in there. Jacksepticeye is another character. Young Gravy, who is
Young
a
Gravy's in
musician.
this?
Yeah.
Wait, is that a person? What?
Yes.
Yeah, he's a
He's
rapper,
a
I guess.
rapper. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's gonna be interesting. I'll try not to point out every time Matt Mercer has a voice line, because I
Young
tend to do
Gravy.
that.
Yeah, so it seems like it is some former Telltale Games people who you might know from the Walking Dead adventure game and the Wolf Among Us. So I'm guessing it's an adventure game, but I honestly am going in blind here. It just got a lot of buzz, and I was like, sure, let's check this out.
It looks like you're watching a like cartoon. I saw it from across the room, and I was like, "What are you watching?" To Daisy. They were like, "It's a game." It's like, "Oh, interesting."
A game,
So,
you say?
I love games.
You can play?
You
With
can
your
play it?
fingers. Ooh.
Ooh. All right. Well, Next time up, we will be playing Dispatch. Thank you, Pete.
Yeah, this is a cool one to talk about.
Thank you, Em.
Thank you. Always good to see someone making indie games and having them actually come out, even if it takes 10 years.
Yeah, for sure. And thank you, listeners. Reminder, you can get in touch with the show. deeplistenspodcast@gmail.com is our email address. deeplistens.libsyn.com. That's where we have our podcast postings and our comment sections. And deeplistenspodcast.bluesky.social. That is our social media account. You can support the show on patreon.com/deeplistens. Till next time, peace.